Okay, everyone, let's take turns sharing our negative experiences with tradition. And remember, this is a safe space for you. Why don't you go first, Dom?
Yeah, so I used to go to this parish that was pretty solid. I liked the priest, though he sometimes got weirdly political. Like one time he said during his homily that abortion should be illegal. I was like, man, that's not really appropriate at all. Anyways, a couple years later, we got this new associate pastor, a young guy who just got ordained. He started using that weird smoke stuff inside the church, incense, I think it was called. It smelled really bad, and I was worried I would get lung cancer. So I started sitting all the way in the back. That made things difficult because it felt like I was disconnected and that my role in the liturgy was diminished. But the last straw for me, this young guy had the nerve to literally turn his back on us during the Mass. At that moment, I jumped out of my pew and said loudly, "Jesus would never turn his back on us." And then everyone clapped. I walked out of there and haven't been back to Mass since then.
Wow, that was so incredibly brave of you. Hey guys, just a reminder to avoid clapping. For those of us who are sensitive to loud noises, we can snap our fingers instead. We want to support you if you are dealing with any unresolved trauma. We also have emotional support animals available at one of our breakout sessions. Okay, Andrew, why don't you go next?
Sure, I'll see if I'm able to get through this without having a breakdown. But basically, my friend kept bugging me to go to the TLM, and I unfortunately agreed to go with him. The entire time, I had no freaking idea what was going on. The priest was mumbling in a different language the whole time, and the choir wouldn't shut up. Like, did they not realize that some of us like to take a nap during the creed? Anyways, the worst part for me was communion. Apparently everyone decided to kneel for communion, but I decided to stand instead of kneel because I didn't want to bring attention to myself or make it seem like I was better than everyone else. And when it came to be my turn, I put out my hands and said, "Amen." But the priest told me, "You have to receive on the tongue here." I was shocked and totally embarrassed. I mean, how is it that someone would deny me when Jesus said in the Bible that all are welcome? At that moment, I realized that this traditional church must have never learned about the new springtime of Vatican II.
Wow. I just want to say that I'm so sorry that you were denied communion because of the way you chose to receive. That should never ever happen. Anyways, I think we have time for one more person. Why don't you share, Jeremiah?
Thanks, Laura. I have a story similar to Dom's. This new young priest came in and started changing everything that I loved about my parish family community center.
Whoa, why are you yelling, man?
I'm not yelling, this is just the way that I talk. Anyways, first he started using these annoying bells at Mass, which made it really hard to focus on my Father James Martin daily devotional. But then he decided to install this thing he called an altar rail. He claimed that he was just restoring what was originally there, but I think he was just making that up to trick us. But I just couldn't believe that he would spend parish funds on such a silly thing. Once the work was completed, I couldn't help but feel like they strangely resembled prison bars, as if we were being punished and not allowed to enter the sanctuary anymore. But it all culminated on a Tuesday morning daily Mass. I normally served as a Eucharistic minister every Tuesday, but when I went up to the sanctuary, Father said, "I think I will be fine. There are only about 15 people here." I was completely mortified. He just didn't get it. It's not about how many people there are. It's about my participation in this service role and what it means for me.
Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. I'm so glad we were all able to get together to share our stories. I think this is going to be an amazing conference. Next on the agenda is dinner, and I believe all of you requested the vegan option, so it should be ready very soon. Thanks, guys.